Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Referrals Podcast. Over 200,000 downloads. What the heck? 200,000 downloads. That's I only downloaded 158,000, so I know 42,000 of you have been downloading that every single week. And right now you're downloading it every single day because we are part of a special edition of Referrals Podcast coming to you daily with the top 10 hot referral tips of top producers. Today we have a very special guest for this very special edition. I will introduce him in 1 second, but first, I've got to give a shout out to Tina Maher. Tina Maher said, I got so many great nuggets from the virtual Referral Mastery Summit 2020, I had to sign up for RMS 2021. Huge thank you for all that you guys did. It was truly amazing. Tina Maher, thank you. You're amazing. Interesting story about Tina is that I did a presentation for a large brokerage, and all of them were on. I was doing the presentation, and at the end, I talked about RMS 21, and the host was nice enough to buy a ticket for one person who would win the drawing. So they went through a random drawing, and out of all the people who won, it was Tina Maher who had already signed up. So Tina's like, well, you know, she was generous and said, give it to somebody else. So they did the random drawing, and then it was Veronica Larea who won the drawing, and she was already signed up for RMS 2021. They did the drawing, and it was Jeremy Katz, who was already signed up for 20. So they had to go 4 deep to give away the ticket to RMS 2021. So it was just kind of an interesting story that literally just happened. Good stuff. Tina, I appreciate that, and appreciate you attending RMS 2021. For those of you that aren't familiar with what's going on, live event in Scottsdale, Arizona has been kind of postponed and tweaked and changed to where we are virtual. You can literally attend from your living room, your phone, your office, whatever it may be. Just go to rms21.com and use the code PODCAST, PODCAST. You will get $400 off the early bird rate. Incredible value. It's September 29th, September 30th, and October 1st. RMS21.com. Sign up today. We're virtual, coming to you live everywhere. So today, without further ado, I want to bring to you Mr. Aaron Long, who is the lender that cares out of Roanoke, California. He is the Certified Referral Trainer, CRT, and also an upcoming featured speaker at RMS 2021. And he also has a firm belief that givers gain, and his purpose is to give massive value first. Besides being known as a lender and a CRT, he's also known as the husband to Dominique and the father to 3 beautiful kids who I believe are 13, 11, and 6. Girl, boy, girl. And soccer is big in their world, and soccer is big in our world. Welcome to Referrals Podcast again, Mr. Aaron Long. Welcome, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. I'm so excited to be here. I really appreciate you having me on again. I'm excited.
And it's a special edition, right? It's the top 10 hot referral tips of top producers. We're giving out a referral tip a day until RMS as a way to celebrate RMS and everything that's going on with that. But before I have you tell me about your last referral, I'm just going to throw you for the biggest loop you've ever known. I'm totally going to hit you with an unrehearsed thing that, I mean, this is totally so off the wall and so out of character for you that I don't. So I want to know, what is your favorite dad joke?
Ooh, okay, favorite dad joke. I'm going to throw 2 at you. I'm going to throw 2.
Oh, my God, you were ready for this. That's crazy.
I've got a list.
All right. Yeah.
All right. What do you call a pig that does karate?
What do you know that what do you call a pig that knows karate?
Pork chop.
Pork chop. Nice. Hi-ya! I love it. Everybody's kung fu fighting. I see pigs running up and down with ninja hats on. I don't know why that is. So
Number 2 for you. Number 2. I don't know if you're ready for this one though. Why do birds have feathers? Cover their butt quack.
To cover their butt quack. Nice. Nice. I was going to say, yeah, the flock if I know. Right? I mean, isn't that a good response? I just came up with
That
that.
would be good. That would be
I'll
good.
be here all week. I will. Trust me. I'm still in the same house I've been living in. All right. So let's talk about your last referral, right? So the reason we do this, and we're doing this throughout, and this is number 7, is we want to know about your last referral so that we can help others get their next referral. And this is such a great exercise for everybody listening, is if you really want to know where your next piece of business is coming from, look for where your last piece of business came from. Because most likely it will come from the same place as your last piece of business. But too often people don't even look at that. They're looking forward. They're looking at marketing and advertising. So here's the thing. If you want to know where your next is coming from, look at the last. So where's your last referral come from?
You had actually asked for like the strategy that we use and things like that in there. And I used most of the strategies that are within 7 levels of communication. So I thought it was kind of funny that I used so many. I'm a 7L lifer. And so I have like a bunch that are included in here. But specifically the one that my last referral that I got, and literally they were in my office yesterday morning. They were here. They came from a realtor that I had reached out to with a power note. I reached out to her with a power note and she responded with it. And we ended up sitting down and having a lunch. And then it kind of escalated from there.
Well, okay. So let's, all right. So there are 7 steps to a power note. Do you know all 7 steps to the power note?
Ooh,
I know.
steps to a power note.
We'll put it together. How about that? Right. So what did you put in the power note? What do we need in a power note?
So of course I wrote with blue ink.
There you go. That's right.
I wrote with blue ink. I'm trying to remember all 7.
Yeah. Just try one at a time. Just to think about writing a note. How would you write it? Right.
Now I did the positive projection.
There you go. That's the one that people always forget about, the 7 steps. So that's the hard one.
My one that I always struggle with is writing rightly because I'm left-handed. So I always scribble on them, but writing rightly, I like that one. Gosh, you have really put me on the spot here. I'm stumbling now.
It's all good.
Dad jokes.
Yeah. So you want to use the word you, right? We want to use the word you, and we don't want to write about me or I or that kind of thing. We want to use blue ink, of course, and we want to write rightly, which means we want the ink to we kind of want the writing to slope upward and to the right, which makes it more positive, which leads to positive projection, right? We need to be specific with our praise. Don't just write thank you and then have the card say thank you. That doesn't, what is that all about? And then, we already talked about the positive projection and then the plus of the PS. Did you use the PS in your handwritten note?
That's honestly, that's my favorite part of the power note.
Me too.
That was one where when I read that in your book, it was literally, I would slap my head. How did I not think of the call to action on the PS before? It's just brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah. So you wrote the note card. How did you put the PS in the note, or did you use a Post-it? Do you remember?
I had a Post-it. I have a Post-it note.
That's my go-to, because so often I always tell people write the PS first. But I have to be totally truthful, is I only do that about 20% of the time. Most of the time I just sit down, hammer out the note, and I'm so verbose, right? I'm so I write, and then I run out of room, right? And then I'm like, oh crap. Well, thank God for a yellow Post-it. And actually the yellow Post-it, I think it actually works better because they have to read the PS, take it off to actually read the note. So the amount of value we just gave right there is just off the charts. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like if they just wrote their notes and followed the PS and the blue ink and the write rightly, I mean, it's just they're going to get a greater response from their notes. So you wrote this note to the agent.
Yep.
It sounds like the PS worked. What was your PS and what did the agent do with it?
My PS is almost always the same. It's usually something along the lines of text me to let me know you got this. And then I have my phone number on there too, just so it's easy. They don't have to look it up or anything like that. So it's almost always that's what it is. There's sometimes where I'll change it, but usually it's shoot me a text so I know you got this.
I love it. And with the way that USPS has been through the last couple of years because of COVID and, everything else that's going on, people are like, wow, you know what? Maybe some of his notes aren't getting through. So I will confirm. So this realtor reached out to you, it sounds like.
Yep, she sure did.
And so what was that conversation like?
Well, I really just took it then to getting together. I was just I wanted to know more about her business, what she's doing, things like that. And what's interesting and kind of a different dynamic for what we have is I've been in the industry for a long time. I've actually been in it since '04. I started out as a realtor and then became a lender in '08. It was actually a little bit after '08. I started at, anyways. So I've known her for a really long time. I actually was at her 60th birthday party, I believe it was. And so I've known her for a really long time, but we just kind of fell out. We didn't talk anymore. And so it was just kind of rekindling that fire again to kind of get back in it and be like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a long time. I just wanted to see what you're up to and see if we can work together.
Is that what the note was about? The note was just a reconnection note?
That was the main part of it. Yeah, it was all.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, first of all, for you to think about that, and that is literally something that anybody could implement today. Is you weren't writing about a birthday party, you weren't writing about a birthday, you weren't writing about a thing from Facebook. You literally were just, I thought of you today and just thought, man, we haven't talked in a while, and I just thought of you and I thought I'd write you a note. I love that. And then so she reached back out to you by text. And then did you do a Zoom? Is that what you did?
No, we actually, I mean, this was not when it was peaking like it is now or anything. It was just a few months ago. Yeah. But we got together, sat down, and we actually went to, it was a place called Cafe Bellini, and we had some Bellinis. It was nice.
There you go. We got to break Bellini, right? I mean, let's break Bellini among friends. So, all right. So then, you rekindle the relationship. Things are going well, and then literally this morning, you got a referral.
It was so taking a step back again. What I actually did when we sat down was I used another one of your acronyms that I love, the FROG acronym. Yeah. I used that during our conversation. I just asked about her family, asked what she's been doing, asked how work was, and then asked what her goals were. And it was just a great way. It's just such a simple strategy for continuing the conversation and opening up different dialogues with her. So it was just another thing from the book that I'm a 7-0 lifer. I love the strategies that are in there.
And I love Frog. Literally, we utilized Frog before this podcast recording today. That's how I found out that Aaron has a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 6-year-old who loves soccer. So love that. And all right, so you used Frog. You had a great conversation and stuff like that. And I did jump ahead. I apologize for that. But was there anything else from the one-on-one that was that you did, or a strategy that you did, or something you felt like was a good idea for our listeners to utilize?
The only thing that ended up happening was what she did after that meeting. It was a few months ago. She would send me a few referrals, but none of them were that great. They were just kind of like they were kind of not good referrals. People with bad credit, late payments on their mortgage, things like that. And then eventually I got to a point where she had sent me quite a few, and then I found one that I thought fit her perfectly and sent her a referral, and she wanted to reciprocate. Wow. Similar to your goal reciprocation question, she wanted to reciprocate, and she's like, I really want to find you a good referral. And that's what she finally found me, a good referral that's doing a refinance, and she doesn't get anything from it, but she found these people and was like, I know the perfect guy for you.
I love that. And so did she call you with the referral, email you with the referral, or a three-way text, or how was the referral delivered?
She actually emailed me with both of us on there, texted me, and then we called and talked shortly after. And then once that person reached out to me, I had reached out to her to express my appreciation, how excited I was, and wanted to make sure that that she knew how great it was that she was still thinking of.
I love it. So what did the strategy of the power note and the one-on-one cost you total, dollars-wise?
It probably, because I did buy the Bellinis, but we had a good time. So it was probably in total, it was probably around $50.
Yeah, so let's say 50 at the most. And yet, we also need to, everybody always talks about your ROI, return on investment, but we need to also, like, what's the ROF, like the return on fund, And so there was a lot of fun to spend that money. I mean, it's like, yeah, I spent $50 on a card and a lunch, but it was so much more than just a lunch and a card. It wasn't like a marketing thing where you can't even see it working. So I think the big thing here is less than $50. And then what will you earn on the referrals that you've gotten from this strategy?
So that one referral is going to earn me a little bit over $2,500.
Yeah.
Roughly. Probably a little bit more than that, actually. Probably closer to around $3,500. But
okay.
She actually, that person, as we were sitting down, it was actually yesterday that we sat down together. Yeah. She said she had 3 other people that she wants to refer over to me that also want to do a refinance. So that one referral is going to lead to 3 more.
So, which is the beauty of this whole business, Yeah. All right. So the agent connected you with one person who is going to do a refinance through you. You met with the person who's doing the refinance, had a great consultation, and now they have 3 more for you that are going to either refinance or get a mortgage through you.
That's right.
There you go. Right. So all of a sudden we're in the $15,000 to $20,000 range, and you spent $50.
That's it.
That's a pretty good investment. So can anyone implement this strategy? Do you think anybody can do this?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Anyone can do it.
So what advice do you have for someone who is wanting to implement this? And really what you're talking about more of just a strategy. Yours is a system of strategies, right? So, you got the power note that leads to a text message based on the PS. You utilize the text message to get them on the phone. When you have them on the phone, you want to bring them closer to you or up the communication pyramid to the influential zone. Well, what's above a power note? It's a phone call. What's above a phone call? It's either an event or a one-on-one. In your case, it was easier, safer, better to do a one-on-one. You had a long lunch, nice lunch with the Bellini, right? You can't go through this whole interview without saying Bellini several times. I just want all of you to walk out from this podcast thinking Bellini, 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 Bellini. So then from the one-on-one, you actually had a potential referral for her. It turned into reciprocation of giving you a referral opportunity very recently. And then you met with the client, and that's leading to 3 more, right?
Yep.
All right. Did you send a power note to the referral?
Yeah. Sent a note to the referral and another one to the realtor that sent it.
To the referral source, right? So all under $50, which is going to pay off handsomely to the tune of, let's say, $15,000 at the least. So whatever that investment is, 300%. Is that what it is? Something 300%. So it might be 3,000%. You're the lender guy, right? You should help me.
Sounds right.
That's right. You know what? It's a 300 million% return. It's like an infinite return. It's so much easier to say those numbers, right? So I'm telling you, and those of you that don't know, you've got to become friends with Aaron on Facebook. This guy is the king of the dad jokes. I love it. There were these guys in North Carolina who thought humans should fly, and you know what? They were right.
You were right.
Dun, dun, dun. I mean, come on. It's just like so just awful. I mean, really. Seriously, they're awful.
Oh, they're right.
No, they're good. They're a lot of fun.
I actually was able to teach my son about the Wright brothers when I gave that joke. So it was.
Oh my God! Please do not turn it into anything serious. Don't tell us the lesson behind it. No, this is so good. So I'm telling you. So final words of wisdom for somebody who is maybe considering going to RMS 21. What would you say to them that maybe they're on the fence about it? They've gone through these 7 referral tips. You're speaking at RMS, and I love the depth that you're going to go on with some of these strategies. What would you say to somebody who's maybe thinking about it?
I really feel like everyone should be going to Referral Mastery Summit. If you want to learn more about referrals, if you want to master the referral game, get more business by referral, you should go to Referral Mastery Summit. I mean, my advice, like I've said a few times, I'm a lifer with 7L because I know these strategies work. I've been on some of these phone calls with some of these other people that are going to be speaking at RMS, and it just blows my mind, the behind the scenes footage that they're going to give you guys, the look into their business and what it's going to be. It blows my mind. It's absolutely so generous, so amazing, and I'm shocked at how much information is going to be given, and really kind of taking a step back to the advice part of it. One of the things that I would advise is to believe. You got to believe. You got to be certain that these systems are going to work, and you've got to go all in. You got to actually you got to believe that it's going to happen, and then it will. And just do it.
Yeah, I love that. We talked recently about hope versus faith, right? And we talked about the $1 million briefcase being, hey, we got $1 million briefcase. We're going to put it on a porch somewhere in America, and we're going to say, go get it. What would you do? Right? And people thought of different things, and they're like, and it's like, well, how soon would you give up? And most people would give up almost immediately. Some people would check 10 porches, some would check 100, some would post on social media and pray, right? Hope and pray. Well, what if I gave you a GPS and I gave you a map with the address of the location of where the $1 million briefcase is? And it's like, how would your attitude change, right? You would literally drive all night. If there was a detour, you would go around, and I mean, you would find a way no matter what. Your car breaks down, you'd have AAA fix it, you'd keep going, instead of, if you didn't know where it was, you would just stop. Your car broke down, you're like, oh, that's a sign, I need to go back home. It's one of those where that's the difference between hope and faith. And that's the beauty of what I think we lay out in RMS is we take people who don't have a map, or their map has a lot of coffee spilled on it and they can't read it anymore. And we give them the communication plan, the yearly appreciation plan, the yearly ambassador program, and then all of our CRTs and more are sharing exactly the fastest way to the cash, the fastest way to the referrals, and how to win the referral game the quickest. So I'm telling you, this is I truly believe this is the biggest bargain in the world when it comes to this education. So
It really is.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a special edition of the Referrals podcast with a very special guest, Mr. Aaron Long. Aaron, thank you once again for being a guest on Referrals podcast.
Much, Mr. Maher. I really appreciate you having me. I'm excited about RMS.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was number 7 of our top 10 hot referral tips of top producers with Mr. Aaron Long. We'll see you tomorrow with number 8. We're almost there. We're almost to RMS. Have you signed up yet? Seats are going quickly. We do have limited seating because it is a limited seating event. We want to make sure that you are on the screen when we go virtual. We want to see you on September 29th. Sign up at rms21.com, rms21.com. Use the code podcast to get $400 off the early bird registration rate. You rock. We'll see you tomorrow on Referrals Podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.